worthy by design.
The truth about life is that every day presents its own challenges, and with it come stress and anxiety. Now, having to deal with this daily, whether at work or at home, could take its toll. Is there really a way to stay above board? Can stress, anxiety, and pressure be completely eliminated? I really can't say. But can it be properly managed? I guess so. Hello, thanks for joining us on today's edition of Worthy by Design, brought to you by Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNNTV. On this show, we focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between. I'm Ibira James. Welcome. Today, I'll be sharing this space with this exceptional woman. She is Mrs. Awuna Nkem. She's a retired director of the Cabinet Office and, very important, a mother.
Yes, of course, that's number one.
It's good to have you, Mom.
Thank you very much.
And she'll be giving us a sneak peek into her notes, from her years in active service, all her experiences on the subject matter of stress. Are you ready for us, Mom?
Well, I think so.
Okay, so let's talk about let's pick it one after the other. Stress, anxiety, pressure. What would you say about all of this?
Okay, thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure.
Stress is the way we respond to challenges and changes in life. It's a constant thing, our mental and physical responses to challenges and changes in life, whatever comes our way, the way we react. Whereas anxiety is when we have fear and we worry, when they become persistent, when they become excessive, then we become anxious. That's when we have anxiety. And then pressure is when we have force exerted. In the thinking and worrying, you are exerting force. But it's not physical, it's not tangible, but it's there. So, yeah.
Okay.
And they are all linked.
And they are all linked.
Yes.
Okay, so is it
Stress.
Did stress create the pressure?
Yes. The stress creates, of course, stress is necessary, very necessary for life, but when it comes to when he leaves that stage and goes to the anxiety stage, and then the anxiety, when it grows, it becomes pressure. That's when it's not good.
Okay. So stress.
Good stress is good.
Oh. Okay, maybe I'll hold you up there. Which is good stress?
The stress, you need stress to live your life. You need good stress to be able to handle things, to know how to react. That's good stress.
That kind of push.
Yes.
Okay.
When your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, for you to manage things that come your way,
Okay.
You handle those things and then you relax again.
Okay.
But if you now handle those things and you don't relax, and if you now add worry and fear, you are getting to the next level. And then from that level, you are going on and on to chronic stress, and then to real anxiety. You might have panic attacks and all that. And then you get to pressure. And this pressure is not just, it's all over the body. You get pressure all over your body. You can have migraine, you can have all manner of things. You can have high blood pressure. You can also have, lifestyle diseases. They will lead to stroke, heart attack, and other things. But you don't want to get there. But the good stress is good, so that you'll be able to
handle
emergencies that come your way.
Amazing. So there's something like good stress.
Yes, stress is good.
Right. Okay, so somebody will be wondering, okay, so what are the signs that I'm not having good stress? Since we have good stress that pushes you to achieve the things you need to achieve.
Yes.
Right. Now we've narrowed it down to the bad stress now. What are the signs that a lady is having bad stress and she needs to watch out?
Okay. When you become irritable, you become angry, you become tired all the time, you lose appetite, you might even have breakouts, you lose your smile, you become lackluster, you have headaches, stomach upsets. When you worry all the time, when you are on edge all the time, you need to watch it, because those things are building up to something undesirable. So those things are negative. Once you see yourself having those things, you just watch it. You take time to dissolve them before you get on.
Take time to
dissolve them. Just let them go. Let whatever is causing such problems sort themselves out.
Okay. So we'll stay there on the dissolution of those things that get us stressed. How do I dissolve them? Looks like this thing is under my skin. How do I just make it go away?
Okay. There are ways to handle these things. First and foremost, how you organize your life.
Okay.
What you believe in. How you think. What you do. These things matter. What sleep you have had. So they say that if you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. Yes. So you plan your life. You get organized from foundation. Like you're leaving the house in the morning. You take time to make a list of the things you do during the day, so that you don't forget any one of them, or you have everything jumbled together. So you organize yourself. You have priorities. You eat well. Good food. Not necessarily the sugary food, the things that we like to, eat and feel good. No, you eat good food, vegetables and fruits and nuts, more of them. Then you get enough sleep, because if you don't get enough sleep, you will be irritable. And then when you are irritable, any little thing will trigger you up. So you get good sleep, plan your day, eat your food at the right time, and then you get ready for the day. And then you also learn how to, assign responsibilities to others. You don't bite more than you can chew. You don't think that you are a superhuman. You can handle everything. You are going to work. From work, you go to the market. From the market, you run back to the house. You prepare the food. You go to the school. You pick children. You come because you think that you are a superhuman. Sometime you will break down if you don't take it easy. You have to let these things work out themselves by allowing other people get into your space, like your husband or your wife, as the case may be. The children, your older children, you can assign responsibilities to them. Your subordinates in the office, you delegate them, you assign responsibilities to them. In the house, it doesn't have to be you that will do the cooking. You might have somebody, you might have a cook. If you don't have a cook, it's okay. You arrange to have somebody to share that responsibility, to maybe somebody you trust to cook the food, and then you bring it, you distribute it in bowls and put in the freezer, that you can easily warm and everybody will eat. But when you don't do that, you can go out and eat. Myself, for example, when I was still having my children, when they were small, I would work in the house and get so tired, especially when I was pregnant. And then my husband would just look at me and say, this woman cannot go and cook. He would take all of us out and we would go and eat somewhere. Or he will buy the food and bring home and we will all eat. You see? So you get your partner, your spouse involved to be part of it all. Don't think that you are, oh, without me, my family cannot exist. I tell you, once you drop dead, I'm telling you, I have seen it happen. There was this lady that was always doing things. She was all over the place. And she was always saying, my family cannot do without me. You know, to add to it, she was also taking care of, because her mother died. So she was also taking care of her sisters. And then one day she was in the market, she had headache. And then she was rushing home. She drove herself, that driving and all that, the traffic, and it added to the pressure. And by the time she got home, she was rushed to the hospital. She died. Didn't life continue? Life continued. So we don't just waste our life just like that because we want to prove that we are superhuman. Yes, every woman is a super individual because of the way God created us, and He made us to be helpmeet. You understand? He crafted us specially so that we will be stabilizer. We stabilize the home. We stabilize any situation and any location we find ourselves in. You understand me? But then don't take it to the next level and think that you have now become God. God is there. You put your trust in Him, and then you get everybody around you to be part of what is happening. You understand? Because people, if you don't move them, they might not move. So what you learn how to do is how to mobilize people, how to move them, how to get them to do what you want to, we want them to do for you. Yes.
That's a very pathetic story, because I know that there are so many other women we have lost.
So many.
To issues like this.
So many of them.
They are walking time bombs, and they really don't know something is going wrong in their system.
Yes.
Because the stress has so accumulated.
Eating deep into them.
For a lady out there, you've heard, I know you've heard this kind of story somewhere before. It's no joke. Please take care of your health, take care of your body, take care of your mind. It's very important. We don't want to lose you. You're too important to us.
Of course.
Hey, mommy said, though, the man, if you die, the man will marry another woman.
Immediately, your siblings will survive. They go on to marry their own husbands. Everybody will survive. It's only you that will be there dead.
It's not your portion. So
Amen.
Take all the precautionary measures you should, and we'll celebrate the victory at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have talked about stress. Now let's talk a bit about anxiety. I feel we really don't talk about anxiety because somehow it just looks like it's normal to be anxious. Is it normal?
Well, as long as we live in this life, I will say it's normal. You know, life happens. Things happen around us. But if we take it from the angle of the Bible, our Lord Jesus Christ told us not to be anxious for anything. So if He told us not to be anxious for anything, it's for a reason. And if we are Christians, if we belong to Him, why would we disobey? Leave anxiety out of it. You know, do what you can do and hand it over to Him. Just know that you are not God. You cannot do it all. There's a saying that goes like this: I may not know what my tomorrow holds, but I know who holds my tomorrow. So if you get up in the morning and acknowledge God and pray and hand your day over to Him, whatever else happens, this is how I handle my own life. Whatever else happens during the day, I just take it in my stride. I always wait on God, to have the final say in my life. I know He has given us all authority here on earth But he said, it's not by power or might, it's by the Spirit of God. So you have to commune with the Spirit of God. You have to fellowship with the Spirit of God. You have to stay in constant communion with the Spirit of God to realize that you are subordinate. You are not the be-it-all. And if you understand that, you won't be anxious for anything. Because anxiety, when it grows, everything grows except the inanimate things. When it grows, it becomes something gigantic and it gives pressure and death or debilitating diseases. So anxiety is fear and worry that have stayed for too long. When the stress, because there are stressors, things that cause stress, when these things happen, you become stressed up. But if you allow, if those things cease, and you still allow the stress to remain in you, it will be piling up without you knowing, because there's nothing to measure it by. It's just piling up inside. But if you release that stress and let it go, you might hear bad news, but it's not the end of the world. Okay? COVID came and it passed, didn't it? So many things. It's only change. Yes. All other things change. They are all subject to change. So tell yourself that these too will pass.
Amazing.
Whether good or bad, it will pass. You'll get to another page. So when you are encountering something that you do not like, myself, I'm telling you about myself, I just tell myself this is not the end of the world. When I had my first baby, it was an IUD, intrauterine death, at full term, 9 months. So I didn't know what happened. I just realized that the baby was not kicking any longer. But I had stressed myself so much trying to get our house ready. So yes. So I did the things that I shouldn't do as a pregnant woman. So by the time I realized that the baby was not kicking any longer, I went to the hospital, and the doctor, checked me out and said that, well, we don't know what happened. We will come in for pitocin induced labor the following day. So I composed myself. He even wrote, the patient is very composed. Because if I let myself start crying there, what would that be? So I just composed myself. He finished and I left. And I met my husband at the door, and he said, what did he say? What's that? I just gave me a sign, I didn't want to talk, because if I started talking, I would, So I just got into the car and I told him, and I cried all the way to the house. And then I cried in the night and I slept. I read Psalms, and then I went into the hospital for the induced labor. And while they were doing it, nurses, in those days long ago, they would come in. This one would come in and say, hey, IUD, on a bookworm. Okay. And then she would realize and then close her mouth. She wanted to say, on a bookworm mother, it kills people. Okay, if you are telling me in this condition, with the baby still inside my stomach, that I might die, what do you want me to do? But I ignored all of that. I made a mental note, to block out such thoughts, such utterances. It was my decision. I decided not to let what they were saying cross over. I read my Psalms all through, praising God, blessing God, reading the Psalms all through. And I was like 24, I think 24, 25 that time. And then the doctor came in, they finished everything, and then I had this baby. And the baby came out. As soon as the doctor left and the nurse left, I just jumped down from the bed and started turning this baby. Fine baby, dark complexion baby, fine, good looking baby. Nothing was wrong with the baby. So when I was discharged, and I met a family friend doctor of ours, and he said he was condoling with me, and I said what I didn't understand was what happened to that baby. And he said, my dear, nobody understands. Because he was a surgeon, he's late now. He said, when we open a woman's stomach and we see the intricacies of God's work inside a woman's stomach, how would you understand? Just take it that life happened. And that was the way I took it. You understand? And from then on, anything that happened to me, even the one that followed, came after that one, was a cesarean section. But the pain and all the things I passed through, I would tell myself, this is not the end of the world. This is not the end of the world. This too will pass. You know, you have to talk to yourself, comfort yourself, you know, believe in God, that God said, Jesus told us, I will neither leave you nor forsake you. And he said, we should put our trust in him. Once you have done that, what else are you talking about? Bad things do happen. But he said, when you pass through waters, I will be there with you so that you don't drown. He didn't say if. He said when.
It's a certainty.
Yes. He said, when you pass through fire, I'll be there with you so that you don't burn. I always put it back to him, because he said his word will never return to him void without accomplishing that for which he said it. I call on him and say, Father, I will not burn in this fire because you are here with me. Though this fire is raging, I will not burn. I'll be like Daniel, now was put in the lion's den, and the following day he was brought out, hale and hearty. And the people that planned for him to be there were thrown into that same lion's den. And they were sumptuous meal for the lions.
Amazing. You know, the story you just told, I'm sure a lot of women out there will relate to it, because women go through things on a daily basis.
Yes.
Either it's an issue of childbirth, or it's a troubling child, or one issue or the other. But you have admonished us that this too
will pass.
So there's no need to be anxious. There's no need to be worried. Just take it as it comes.
Of course.
Because it will not consume you.
Yes.
God will always be there with us in the midst of this situation.
Yes.
Because the interesting thing about this is we're not talking about self-help situations. We are talking about the help that only God can give us and bring us through all the challenges. This has been a very interesting conversation so far. I don't know what your own issue is. I don't know what your own challenge is, but just leave it there. It will pass.
Yes.
Right after this break, we're coming back for more doses of this medication.
They call it that.
Do stay with us.
You can't deceive God. None of us can deceive God.
Nobody can actually become a leader if God has not ordained it.
What is the right knowledge? The right knowledge is scripture.
Yes, sir.
Because the Bible is light years ahead of science.
But I usually will ask God, how do I explain this thing in a way that people will understand? The Spirit of God can anoint you to teach, can anoint you to preach, can anoint you for business, can anoint you in politics.
The scripture speaking, Psalm chapter 107 verse 20. He sent forth his word and healed them and delivered them from every of their destruction. We are trusting the Lord that as we discuss his word this day, God will deliver us from every form of ignorance, every form of destruction, and grant us grace to walk even in the path of wisdom. In the name of Jesus. Amen.
Welcome back. We have been speaking with the amazing Mrs. Nkem Awuna. We had been talking about stress, anxiety, and pressure. Where we ended was that she has been dishing out some medications. She's not a doctor, but these spiritual medications are going to the right places. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that trigger this stress, some of the things that push us to being so stressed and anxious.
Okay, like I already said, planlessness, lack of organization, lack of acceptance of our limitations, lack of delegating responsibilities. Sometimes stress comes from other people that we didn't even plan, we didn't even know would come. Maybe people you work with, they just go out of their way to make life difficult for you. So you have to discipline yourself. It is now up to you to know how to react to them. You don't allow anything to affect you personally. You don't allow anybody to come into your 18 box. Yes.
Yeah.
So you devise means and ways of checkmating, excesses from people. Love yourself. Okay. So if you don't love yourself, then you are planning to have stress.
Some people don't even understand what it means to love themselves. When you say love yourself, it sounds like love you, because we just know love your neighbor as yourself. It doesn't sound like something that you really
need to
pay attention to doing, because we can love others. You can share what you have with others. Invite them over for dinner and all of that. But personally, how do I love myself?
Okay, and
let myself know that I love me.
I had a boss in those days that always bought herself presents. Any trip she undertook, she would buy something tangible to remember that trip. Her birthdays, she would buy something for herself. So, to congratulate herself. You can love yourself by standing in the mirror and admiring yourself and praising yourself, pouring encomiums on yourself. You can love yourself by, getting out of your way to eat what you like. Like recently, I think it was last week, I just called one of my sons. I said, I don't want to eat what I have cooked. I want you to order something for me. That's loving yourself. They say looking good is good business. You don't have to dress costly. You don't have to dress expensive. But just make sure that you satisfy yourself. Don't let your hair be unkempt. Don't wear dirty clothes. Try to wear pleasant things and look pleasant and cheerful. You are loving yourself.
Because you feel good.
Yes. And then one thing that guides me is what the Bible says. Anything you find to do, any good to do, and you fail to do it, it's a sin unto you. So try to impart on others. Try to do good. Go out of your way to do good. I might meet somebody, you don't know whether that person has even smiled for the day. I know that person has made an effort to look good. I'll just tell the person, oh, you look so beautiful. And the person will smile. And that smile will make me smile in turn. So when you dish out goodness comes back to you.
And I'm also thinking, when you dish out goodness, it could help to ease your stress.
Yes.
And another person's stress.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, so is it really possible to eliminate stress? Like, I don't want any form of stress in my life. I know I hear myself say, I can hear myself say, I don't want any form of stress in my life. Please don't stress me. Is it possible not to be stressed at all? You talked about good stress.
Yes. I told you we have good stress. So it's not even a matter of saying I don't want stress. We want stress. Let me give you a story. There was this woman, an elderly woman. that looked out. Her son had been working on the car parked outside. So he jacked the car up and was under it, doing something under the car. And then he was lying facing the under the car that he was working on. And then the woman just looked out through the window and he saw that the car, at that particular moment, the car now got dislodged and fell on top of her son. She ran outside, she picked this car, she pulled it up, a whole car, by this slight old woman. She pulled up that car, and then her son slid out of the under of the car. And then she now let down the car. And everybody was wondering, where did she get that strength? The adrenaline and the cortisol. The cortisol is our stress chemical in the body, So we need that kind of stress. We need stress so that we know when to fight off, when to take the fight or flight mode. Do I stay and fight or do I run for my life? You need stress to respond to somebody. You are driving, somebody just comes from a side street, bumps in front of you, to match the brake. You need stress to know how to react to situations. But when you are done with that situation, let it go. Find a way to relax again and take life easier. So we need stress. But what we don't want is the bad stress. What you mean by I don't want anybody to stress me? I don't want you to add your problem to my own.
Yeah.
Because I have my own problems. I don't want any of yours. Yes.
Amazing. I don't want anybody to add problems to my own.
At all.
And I don't want anybody to add problems to your own.
Yes.
Okay. So now let's talk about your journey through your working years. How did you manage life? And you're still looking good.
I don't even know.
After 60.
I am 61 this year.
How did you manage those years of raising children, having to, give your best at work, having to give your best at home, and everywhere? How?
I do not know. The only person that knows is God. Like I told you, my trust is in God all the time. He is my beat and end it all, my all in all. And with him, I can do all things. So, like we have said, you learn how to plan. By the way, my life is largely planless. Because in those days, I would see my husband write down the things he wanted to do. And I would say, I'm not writing anything. And then I would go out. By the time I came back to the house, I would remember that I didn't do one or two things that I had planned to do. But if you want to, and then it might be something that was very important. So if you want to avoid such situations, just make a list. Even when you're traveling, make a list of the things you need for that trip. And then restrict yourself to those things. Once you make a list, you start packing. My husband is that organized. I am the opposite. But I tell you that God sees me through in all situations, in all conditions, in all locations. And in all
like you
circumstances.
said, you need to understand yourself, understand your own limitations.
Yes, you need to know your limitations. You need to know what you can do. I am a crash person. That is, I like to, I don't know. It's not intentional. I'm just like that. Sometimes I don't see what to do or how to do things before the deadline is almost on me. When the deadline is there, I now remember, I should have done this one. Why didn't I do this one? But God has put a mechanism inside of me that will help me do it at that time and do it very well. But if you know you cannot do that, why would you not start early? If you are a student, why won't you study early? You know, make notes and then look at your notes, get yourself ready. My sister's husband, when he was in school, they said that 2 weeks to exam, he would use sellotape to seal up his books. And then he would just be disturbing others, you know, making noise. He had studied because he didn't waste any time. He is a medical doctor. He is a consultant. He is a professor. So he didn't waste any time at all. You know, he studied as and when due. And then 2 weeks to exam, he would keep his books away. And then his head would refresh. He would go into exam and excel. But there are some olodos that will just follow him. Will follow him within that time. I didn't know that he was ready. You know, so you should understand yourself. Understand yourself and know your limitations. If there were people that were causing problems for you, you can talk with them. If your supervisor or your superior in the office, for example, did not recognize your inputs or gave out so much responsibility to you, or paired you with people that were uncooperative and all that, you can speak up.
Okay.
You can speak up. You can discuss these things, you know. And then you yourself should also know that, you know, when you have subordinates, that you treat them well, you recognize them, you be a good leader to them. But first of all, you be a good leader to yourself. You know, you have employees inside of yourself. The number one employee inside of yourself is your heart. This heart is always working. We are not even paying him anything, but he's always working. And then we now mount pressure on the heart, you know, because the heart needs to meet up with whatever we are feeling. The head, the brain, controls the entire body, you know. It tells the hands what to do, they do, gives instructions to the legs and all that and all that. But it doesn't depend on itself. It depends on the blood the heart pumps to it. So that blood that the heart pumps, the pressure of the blood that the heart pumps against the arteries that take the blood to the rest of the body is, you know, it needs to be controlled. But if you keep stress and anxiety in your body, the pressure will slowly mount up, increase and increase and increase, and other things will be happening in your body also because of these things: anxiety, nervousness, stress. So when your employees are not taken care of, not well taken care of, you have problems. The way employees in the physical world, the way they go on strike, the way they retire, the way they die, that's what happens in your body. So if you don't take care of the employees in your body, these hands, they are your employees. You take care of them. If you know what should be done, do. You exercise. If you live a sedentary life, I tell you, you will pay. One day they will go on strike. Your legs, because they said that aging starts from the feet, from the legs, yes. You have one problem or the other. If you live a sedentary life, you're always sitting down and all that, you will pay for it. So you need to work out. You need to exercise. You need also to exercise your brain. Keep on reading. Keep on reading. But these days you find that we sit and watch TV, watch films, you watch this one, watch another one, and so on. As social media has killed us. So don't allow these things to happen to you. If you know how you wouldn't like anybody, your superior, to, you know, do anything that you don't like, Don't do anything that your body doesn't like. And dress well, like I said earlier. Come out, feel good, and always do good. Always do good. It shows the kind of heart you have. Because the heart is very important to God. He said that the heart of man is desperately wicked. So if you are able to cut out wickedness from your actions, and then you do good, goodness and mercy will always follow you.
Amazing. Oh, this has been a whole seminar. Okay, so you have summarized my next question already, how to be mentally alert and ready and productive at work. So we should, whenever we're stressed, we should make it known. We
Yes.
shouldn't,
Don't bottle up
bundle it
anything.
in.
Don't bottle up anything.
Yes.
And then, there's something I also do. As you get on in life, you don't take deep breaths. Your breaths become shallow. So sometimes you don't get enough oxygen into your body. So when you get angry, or when you know that something is stress is coming, you might calm yourself down by maybe you count up to 10, or you take deep breaths. What else I do is, in the morning, I might open the window or go out to the balcony, or just go to the, walk around in the compound. That time, the fresh air, yes. The dust of the previous day had died down and new dust had not come up. So I take deep breaths. I breathe in, allow it to stay a bit, and then exhale. I do it like 10 times or up to 20 times, as much time as I have anyway. And I now go my way. And I make sure that I eat. Because if you are hungry, your irritability will be high.
It's on another level.
Because they say that a hungry man is an angry man. And then you now add another problem from anywhere. So whenever you catch yourself answering people, shouting at people, talking back to people and all that, you know that something is happening. You look at yourself and then you calm down, you take it easy.
The subject of eating for women, sometimes we forget, right? Because you're up in the morning trying to make breakfast for everybody, and then you're trying to jump off to work, and from work you're trying to go for school run, and from school run you're trying to make dinner.
Must you do all of that? Must you? Let me tell you the truth. I didn't do that school run. No. Honestly, I didn't do it. I know that sometimes my husband will say, see other women are picking their children, and you never take these children. I say, I know, my dear. How can I get them ready, cook for them, and then carry them to school again? Now only me God born. And then go to work. It was too much.
Because I know that it's easy to just forget that, I haven't had something to eat today.
You shouldn't.
It's easy to forget that.
Don't create that scene at all. Don't allow it to be.
Because that could add to your stress.
Yes. It's one major addition to your stress. Let me tell you a little story about one man, a family friend of ours. This man said, he asked his family, he said, if there's just half a loaf of bread in the house, and there's mother, there's father, there are children, who will eat, and it's the last half loaf of bread in the house, who will eat this half loaf of bread? And they said, the children, they are young, they are small now, they should eat. Said the mother, she's the one running about in the house, taking care of the children. The man took his family to the train station, and he said, okay, look at this train. These ones are called coaches, and this is the engine house, the head coach. It is this one that is dragging all these ones. Guess who is this one that is the engine? The man. He said, so that half loaf of bread should get to the man. The man will eat it and have strength to go and make more bread. because the man is the breadwinner of the house. So you go and win more bread. So he's just trying to tell you that you take care of the most vital person. And to you, the most vital person is yourself. Yes, because if you don't take care of yourself, how would you render help to others? How would you help others? And you know, when you get signs that you are, like I said, irritability, sweaty palms, and all that, you just know that it's time to take it
a
easy.
break.
Yes, you can talk to your doctor, talk to a nurse, talk to you know, a friend in quotes, you know, talk to a sister, talk to your mother. You can talk to somebody, you know, without divulging the secret of your family. For example, you just talk generally. You can also relax. There's what is called power nap, or in the afternoon. You might just take, let everything go. You just relax. And it's good to take naps. It's good to take naps. Apart from the 7 to 8 hours we are expected to sleep in the night. If you don't sleep well in the night, you'll be irritable. So these things are not are not isolated. They are all linked together. One leads to the other.
Amazing conversation we have had so far. Like I said, this was the seminar. All right, so eat well, sleep well. Never lose sight of the fact that you are still flesh
And
and blood. Be kind to yourself. Take
Yes.
some time off and just take care of you. Give yourself some TLC.
Yes, so tender, loving care.
Yes. So if you properly prioritize your task, your stress level will
Reduce.
anxiety will be at bay, and there will be no need to work under excessive pressure.
Yes, so.
You know why I'm telling you all of this? It's because you are worthy by design. And I want to see you
Bubbling, glowing,
beautiful,
vibrant, robust.
You know?
Yes.
What more can I say? I'll just say a big thank you to our amazing guests. You have been.
Let everybody also remember that looking good is good business.
You've heard
Yes.
it all. You've heard it all. So don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Worthy by Design. Till we come your way again next week, same time, same station. I remain Iberi Chance. See you there.
Bye.